Hello, and welcome to Math 2160, the 12-week version of the online course. My name is Richard E. Cheetah, and I'll be your instructor for the semester. I just wanted to go over a few things that'll be necessary for the course, and starting off with the e-learn course. And the first thing we want to do is to go to, let's say, the content area. Now, one thing to note, when you first sign into the course on eLearn, you won't see these week 1 through week 12 folders until you read through the material in the course overview section and complete this course overview survey. Now, within the course overview area, there's the syllabus, there's the registration instructions for My Math Lab, there's the when assignments are due, which gives all the due dates, and some other basic information like how grades are determined. Like looking in the syllabus, a few things to note. You will be required to have a My Math Lab Access Kit. Now, for the textbook, you can just buy the My Math Lab Access Kit because it has access to an ebook version of the textbook. But if you wish to have a physical copy of the textbook, that's fine as well. Now, two other things you will need is a webcam, because the exams for this course will be online. So we'll be using the online proctor system Respondus Monitor through My Math Lab. So that'll be one requirement. And one thing to note, the online proctor system on My Math Lab is not compatible with Chromebooks or iPads. Now, if you need to borrow a laptop and or a webcam, you can do so from Sinclair, and I'll be sending out a link on just how you do that. And the other thing you'll need is a scientific calculator for the course. One thing to note, graphing calculators are not allowed for the course. Now, let's see. Basic information is in the syllabus, including the homework and homework and quizzes, which are in My Math Lab. Those are worth 20% of the grade. And then the 4 exams are each worth 20% for the remaining 80%. And the grading scales are basic 90, 80, 70, 60% for A, B, C's, D's, and F's. Now, the next thing is, if you go to the registration instructions for My Math Lab, where you will see the course ID which you'll need for when you're registering for the course. Now, one thing to note is that if you haven't received your access code from the bookstore, you can still use the temporary access. It's a free 14-day temporary access from My Math Lab. Or you could also buy your access directly from the website using a credit card or PayPal. So there's honestly no excuse for not doing your work by the first due dates. And so yeah, here are all the instructions on how to register for My Math Lab. Then the next page is the when assignments are due page. Now, we do move at a fairly fast pace because this is a 12-week course and it's a 5 credit hour class. So like I said, we do move at a very fast pace. So one thing to know, like in the very first week, you note that there are 3 assignments that's due. One on Wednesday, one on Friday, one on Sunday. One thing to note, all of the assignments on My Math Lab are available at the beginning of the course, except for the exams. So you can be working ahead, which I highly recommend, because you never know what happens. And so yeah. And let's see, so for the second week, also 3 assignments are due. The third week, also 3 assignments are due, where the last assignment is the exam, which is due on a Sunday, but I will make it available for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then, again, another 3 assignment sets, another one. Then afterwards, there tends to be only 2 assignment sets, because the assignment sets do get a little more difficult as at the second half of the course. So, but that's why we do have more of the assignment sets due at the beginning. So make sure to keep track of the assignment due dates. And one thing to note, and I'll discuss this more when I show you the My Math Lab material, the My Math Lab assignments almost all consist of lesson assignments, which are videos to watch. Like you watch a video, do a problem, watch a video, do a problem, watch a video, do a problem. Then you do the homework. Then after you score the necessary prerequisite score on the homework, then you will take a quiz, and you'll have 3 attempts for each quiz. Now, like I said, I'll be talking about that more soon. And then the next thing, well, there's some things about this course. Then some information about me and the expectations. Also, like I said, how grades are determined. Actually, I gotta change this because I just noticed it's wrong, because this was when we had 4 exams and a final. Okay. So for each week, there are these assignments you gotta do. Now, and first thing we'll give the introduction and the activity checklist, and which states introduction and objectives, some additional learning lessons you could do. Again, these are optional. These are just to give you more help. There's also a discussion forum where you do introduce yourself at the beginning of the semester. And then the next thing you do is you do all of your assignments on MyMathLab. The honest truth is, all of the assignments are on MyMathLab. None of them are within eLearn, except when it comes to the actual exams. Like when you take the first exam, under this Exam 1 review folder, there is the Dropbox for the work, because you will be required to turn in neatly organized work when you take your exam. And the way you could do that is, like when you're taking your exam, have paper, have something to write with, and like I said, just make sure everything's neat and organized, so know which one's number 1, which one's number 2, and so on. And then as soon as you're done completing the exam on MyMathLab, then you could take a picture of your work with your phone, and then you could use an app like, I think it's like Genius Scan or some other ones, where you could take those pictures, compile it into one PDF file, which you then submit into the Dropbox. So that's what's on the eLearn course shell. But like I said, almost everything is within the MyMathLab course. So let's look at that. So after you've signed in and registered, now again, just quickly going through the steps. Like when you register for MyMathLab, like I said, you go to this website. Under registration or register, you select student, and then you go through the process. You'll enter this course ID. Then if you already have a Pearson account, you can sign in using your username and password. If not, just create one. I think you need like an email address, and come up with a password for your account. And then you'll enter, like I said, either the access code you've already purchased from the bookstore, or you can buy the access directly from the website, or you could also use the 14-day free temporary access. Or one thing, if you did take Math 1460, which uses this exact same textbook, as long as your access is still good, then you can just use that access, so you wouldn't have to buy a new access. It just depends, because there are various accesses that you could purchase, like depending on the length of them. So like if you only bought a 1 semester term one and that's already expired, then you would need to buy another one. But if you bought like a year long one and it hasn't been a year yet, you can use that access, and you don't have to buy new access code. Okay, so again, back on MyMathLab, once you've registered and everything and you click in the course in MyMathLab, you would see the home page, which has like a little calendar, and you'll see, okay, like in blue are the homework assignments, and in, I think, let's call it orange or yellows, I don't know what color that is. And these square ones, those are when you have a quiz. So you'll see for the first assignment set, it actually doesn't have a quiz. It consists of only the lesson assignments and then the homework assignment. There's 2 assignment sets, the Chapter 3 review and the Chapter 4 review, which don't have quizzes. All of the other assignment sets, except for the exam ones, have quizzes as well. So, but But to really see all of your assignments, what I would do is click this assignment link. And you'll see, okay, here's all of the assignments for the first set. So you see like lesson 3A. And one thing to note, you got to do these in order. So you got to do lesson 3A, then lesson 3B, 3C, 3D, 3E, and so on. Then you could do the homework. One thing to note, let's say that for the ones which do have a quiz, you need to score at least a 90% on the homework assignment of that assignment set to be able to access the quiz. And for each quiz, you have 2 attempts and you have 30 minutes for each quiz. So this is where you would find all the assignment sets. And let's click on the first one. You'll see, like I said, there's a video. And then, well, actually, that's not a very good one. Let's see. Let's click on this one. So you see there's some videos. And once you've watched the videos, then this link for the question will become active. So you do this one problem. And then once you've completed it, then you can move on to the next one. And one thing, let's look at an actual homework assignment. And let's see, I could bypass it just because I'm an instructor. One thing to note is that there is a late submission penalty that you will lose 20% for any questions completed after the due date. But 80% of the score is better than 0% of the score. So if you do happen to miss the due date for the assignment sets, you can still complete the homework assignments. But there are no late accepted quizzes. But I will be dropping a couple of the lowest quiz scores at the end of the semester. Now let's see, like if you click on a homework question, and you see, okay, like here you're supposed to find this limit. One thing I wanted to show was there's these help features at the bottoms. There's this help me solve this, view an example, which will be both 2 of the help features. And then for some more help, you could open up that drop down window. There's a video, there's a link to the textbook. There's also this Ask My Instructor link that after you've used all of those help features and you still can't figure out the problem, you could always click this Ask My Instructor. And what this will allow you to do is to send me an email and where you can say, hey, can you help me with this? I'm not sure how to do da-da-da. And then you send that email. The nice thing about that is when I get that email, it'll contain actually a link to the specific problem you're working on because everyone's are numerically different. So I can see the exact one that you are working on. So when I reply to you, I can reply to the specific one that you're doing. I can see the specific one you're doing. Okay. And obviously, when you're taking the quizzes, there are no help features available for the quizzes. Now, a couple other things to note is, let's say first there's this practice test. What that is a way for you to practice using the online proctor system. So you'll have to download a lockdown browser. So when you click on this practice test, it'll go through the steps to download the lockdown browser. And what it is, it's a stress-free way for you to practice using the online proctor system that doesn't count towards your grade. So I would highly recommend you do that well before you take the test. That way, again, you're comfortable with the system and you've already downloaded the lockdown browser and it's all working. So don't wait to the last minute to do so. And there's also, but that one's not actual to help you practice for the first test. It's more just to practice using the system. The exam review assignments, those are the best way to help study for the exams. Now, it's not available yet for students, but let's see, let me go as an instructor. That below that exam 1 review assignment will be the exams. So let's see where to go. There it is. So like that'll be, the exam will become, the link will become visible for you. Like for this first one, October 8th is when it will be first available. So you'll click on that and you'll take the exam. And when you take the exams, like I said, it'll first turn on the lockdown browser, which will shut down everything else on your computer except the browser. And then also you'll need it'll turn your webcam on. So the things you'll need for when you're taking the test before you actually click on the link is first you'll need your picture ID because you'll be showing your ID to your webcam to verify your identity. If you don't do that, you will not receive credit for the test. Um, you also need something to write with, a blank paper to write your work, and a scientific calculator. That's all you're allowed to use during the exam. No notes, no books, anything like that. So what you do is then you start taking the exam, which will look just like the quizzes, except again the lockdown browser's on and your webcam will be on, and you only have the one attempt, and it's longer obviously. So you'll be taking the exam, writing your work neatly. So like, make sure I know, okay, this is number one, this is number two, and so on. And then once you've completed the exam, you'll click save, and then like I said, immediately afterwards, you'll take pictures of your work and then submit that work in the Dropbox. Um, the work again is a way to allow for partial credit for the exam. If you don't do so, then you won't receive any partial credit for questions. So make sure to do so. Okay, so that's the basics of the course. That'll help you get started and for just almost everything we need for the semester. But if you have any questions, never be afraid to ask me, and you could always send me an email. So good luck in the course.